Most people think of Russia as nothing more than Moscow and Saint Petersburg. Located more than 9,000 kilometers from Moscow, Vladivostok is a major commercial port and naval base in the Pacific. Vladivostok is the administrative center of the Far Eastern Federal District and Primorsky Krai. In 2014, Vladivostok was considered among the 10 most beautiful oceanfront cities in the world by National Geographic. Vladivostok is located on a peninsula, washed by the Sea of Japan. Vladivostok is 750 kilometers away from Seoul, 1,335 kilometers away from Beijing, and a little over 1,000 kilometers away from Tokyo. This contemporary city is changing rapidly. Over the last few years, a number of unique constructions have appeared in Vladivostok, including Ruski and Golden Horn bridges. Vladivostok is in the monsoon area of the temperature zone. Seasonal changes of air streams occur under the influence of temperature changes between the mainland and the ocean. The mean annual temperature is +5 degrees centigrade. Vladivostok hosts events of an international level, including the APEC Summit and the Eastern Economic Forum. Vladivostok is known for its great mix of architectural styles, such as Russian Baroque, German Gothic, Romanesque style, and Asian architecture. Vladivostok is a multi-religious city. Orthodox Christianity has the largest number of followers in Vladivostok. There are also Jewish, Muslim, Protestant, Catholic, Baptist, and other religious communities. Start your awesome day in Vladivostok with a coffee and a pastry. Visit any bakeries in the city. One of the bakeries you should visit is La Comka. La Comka is a bakery chain owned by Vlad. Established in 1903, this is one of the oldest companies in the city. There are 15 cafes in Vladivostok, and this one is located at Svetlanskaya Street number 7. La Comka have pastries, many types of cakes, pies, salads, and sandwiches. They also have eclairs and macaroon. For the coffee, try vanilla wrap. It's Russian coffee. As for a non-coffee beverage, you should try raspberry cranberry warming drinks and marshmallow cocoa. At La Comka, you can also buy chocolate as souvenirs from Vladivostok. If you want to have a breakfast with French ambience, go to Pikrnaya Mishela. There are 8 cafes in Vladivostok, but this one is located in Svetlanskaya Street number 33. Pikrnaya Mishela, or Michelle's Bakery, first opened at the end of the last century in Paris. They specialize in traditional French pastries. Over time, the company expanded, its branches appeared in different countries, including Russia. They have many types of cakes and pastries, and everything looks tasty. For the beverage, we would recommend lemon, ginger and honey tea. If you don't know Russian, don't worry. This place is travelers friendly. Their menu is available in English, Chinese, Korean, and Japanese. If you love museums and if you have the time, then don't miss the Arson State Museum of the Primorsky region. It's located at Svetlanskaya Street number 20. Opens daily from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Arson State Museum offers great review of local history. It's easily accessible, all the descriptions are in English. Also, the staff are always friendly and helpful. There are many interesting items, ranging from ancient seashells to the stone remains of the ancient Balhae kingdom that once inhabited this land. If you're in Vladivostok and your favorite movie is currently playing at the cinema, but you don't know Russian, relax. Go to Okain Kino Theater. It's not far from Svetlanskaya Street. Here, some movies are not dubbed in Russian. Also, they have IMAX studios. And while you're there, we recommend you to try Black Star Burger. Black Star Burger is a Russian chain of fast food restaurant founded by Russian singer T. The only downside for travelers is the fact that the menu over the cash register was not translated in English. The taste of the burger is very good, the buns are very soft, the meat is soft and juicy. And the ingredient seems to be very fresh. Go to the city center. You will find yourself face to face with a majestic monument dedicated to the fighters for Soviet power in the Far East. Also, you will see a white skyscraper from the socialist era, the Primorsky administration building. The main street of the city is called Svetlanskaya Street. Svetlanskaya Street stretches for several kilometers along the Golden Horn Bay. The street was renamed Leninskaya in Soviet times. The name Svetlanskaya was restored in the 1990s. What about lunch? Well, don't worry, because here in Vladivostok, there are many varieties. You can go to a Russian restaurant, Korean restaurant, Georgian restaurant, and many more. We would recommend going to Supra. Supra is a Georgian restaurant. This restaurant is always crowded, doesn't matter if it's lunchtime or dinner time, there's always a big line. But it's really worth it. They have good ambience, also, the waiters and waitresses here are very friendly. If you want a much more affordable lunch, we would recommend going to a place called Nari Dai. It's located in Svetlanskaya Street number 10. The place looks good and comfortable. They have pastries, soups, pickles, salads, main dishes and desserts. Meals are prepared for breakfast, lunch and dinner. The food can be called nostalgic Russian fusion. And it is more reminiscent of homemade than dining. Besides walking, how do you go around the city? Well, you can always go by taxi. But for a much more affordable trip, you should go by bus. The price for a trip by bus around the city is 28 ruble. Public buses run daily from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. So if it's too early, or if it's late, you will have to go by taxi. Ordering taxi is easy. Yandex Taxi app works just fine, and it's available in English. Another public transportation in Vladivostok is funicular. Opens from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Monday to Saturday. As for Sunday, it opens from 7:30 a.m. to 8 p.m. The locals use it to go from Pushkinskaya Street to Sukhanova Street, or vice versa. It was opened in May 1962. It's the one and only in Vladivostok. It's cheap, only 20 ruble. Due to its uniqueness and scenic view over Golden Horn Bay, the Vladivostok funicular has become a popular tourist attraction, despite the short length of its route, which is 183 meters. Short, but unforgettable. One of the city's most picturesque vantage points is the Eagle's Nest Hill. Vladivostok is a city in the hill, and the hill makes a perfect natural lookout, with its breathtaking panoramic views of the city. The Eagle's Nest Hill is the most popular and well-kept observation point. The vantage point offers a magnificent view over the city and the Golden Horn Bay. Speaking of the Golden Horn Bay, how did the bay get its name? When the city founder Nikolai Primorsky first arrived here, he noticed that the landscape looked similar to the Golden Horn Bay in Istanbul, and so he proposed to call it the same. The Eagle's Nest Hill is an excellent place to start getting familiar with the city of Vladivostok. Here you'll find the monument of the founders of the Cyrillic alphabet, Saint Kirill and Saint Methody. Visit the cozy Admiralsky Park. Here you'll find the Ark of the Crown Prince, which marked the visit of the Crown Prince Nikolai Alexandrovich Romanov to the city. The monument's history began in January 1891, when the city became aware of the impending visit of the Crown Prince. The Vladivostok City Duma, upon considering the preparations necessary for meeting their distinguished guest, decided to build stone triumphal gates in his honor. The project was designed by Vladimir Konovalov, the city architect. Construction began in March of that year. The city allocated 5,000 ruble and an additional 4,000 from the Merchant Society. The Triumphal Arch was built in the Russian style, typical of similar buildings of the late 19th and early 20th century. The arch symbolized the Vladivostok Sea gates, through which the future emperor would solemnly pass to enter the city. By the way, people here say that when you walk under the arch, make a wish, and it will be granted. If you go down to the harbor near the Admiralsky Park, you'll find a small museum inside of an old submarine, the C-56 or S-56. The ticket cost 100 ruble per person. But, if you want to take a photo or video, you need to pay extra. This submarine had an important role in the naval history of Russia and in World War II. The S here stands for Srednya, which means medium. The construction of the S-56 began in Leningrad, which is now known as Saint Petersburg, and was completed in Vladivostok by the Dalsabad Ship Repair Center. The original submarine central and boat compartments are well preserved, so one can see real sailors' bunks, torpedo tubes, and look out through the periscope. The submarine was launched and commissioned in October 1941. A year later, the sub made an unprecedented move for duty to the Northern Fleet, crossing both the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans. She engaged in 8 military campaigns, sunk 4 targets, and damaged numerous other targets. In 1944, the sub was awarded the Order of the Red Banner, and in 1945, she was honored with the prestigious National Guard title. They say that during the war, the 56th was declared dead 19 times, yet she always returned, and now she is unsinkable forever. After admiring the submarine, relaxing in Admiralsky Square, ascend back to Svetlanskaya Street. Go to Svetlanskaya Street number 41. Here, the main post office building built in the neo-Russian style comes into sight. Nearby is the sculpture of a woman who is in a hurry to drop a letter into the mailbox. This is Eleanor Prey. She was an American. Eleanor Prey lived here in Vladivostok more than 30 years. In her letters to relatives in America, which have been published in several books along with her own photographs, she wrote about the city's life for decades, creating its chronicle. She is even called Vladivostok's first blogger. Walk further down Svetlanskaya Street. Here, you'll a building called GUM, at Svetlanskaya Street number 35. In addition to steam heating, telephones, elevators and other, this building was the first place in the Far East to have electric lights. Here, you can find bars, cafes, restaurants, and shops. In Soviet times, GUM was the main shopping center of the city. Take a walk through the stores of GUM. Here you can have a cup of coffee with some home-baked treats. One of the places you can visit here is Gastro Bar. Gastro Bar opens every day with different business hours. For travelers, don't worry. Their menu is also available in English. They are well staffed. Also, they have good ambience. Take a city bus to the last stop on Ruski Island. Here, you will find an oceanarium. Tickets for adult cost 1,000 ruble for aquarium and 1,200 ruble for aquarium plus dolphinarium. Tickets for children cost half the price. Children under 5 years of age with a valid ID are free of charge. Travelers find their own meanings in what connects them to Vladivostok. Visit Vladivostok and discover your own connect shows.